Feminine leadership is listening. It's being able to create spaciousness. So like we talk about creating margin, creating white space on your calendar, like on purpose. It is trusting your intuition, which you're actually able to tap into when you have a regulated nervous system. It is allowing instead of forcing things to happen the way that they're meant to happen, because you believe and you practice that all things work together for good. Welcome back, everyone. We are about 1 month into our YouTube era, and today's video is going to be really exciting. I actually think it's cool that Emily's here today to be kind of the audience perspective for this specific episode, because we are going to talk about how women are not built like men, okay? And that's not a limitation, it's actually a strategy. So we're going to be talking about the difference between being a female entrepreneur versus a male entrepreneur, but specifically when it comes to like the mental load that women carry. And from our perspective, it's as moms, because we're both moms.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited because I feel like there is a massive difference between the mental load of males and females when it comes to business, when you are managing the rest of your life, when that includes kids, family, etc.
Yeah.
This is not like, let's hate on men. We love our men. We can't live without them.
Yes.
We literally cannot live without them. My husband is so amazing. Mm-hmm. It's just that it's different. We are physiologically different. Mm-hmm. We're just different. And we have to run our businesses different. And so this episode is for every woman who has ever thought, like, why can't I just push harder like those guys on the internet? Mm-hmm. Why does it feel different for me? And listen, for any emotionally mature men listening, like one person, like one man. Hey, Trevor.
Yeah.
He's the only man that watches my YouTube videos or listens to my podcast, but he is emotionally mature. So he can watch this and be fine with it.
Right.
But
he's probably like, thank goodness you're talking about this.
Yeah, right. It's like, this isn't a man bashing episode. Yeah. It's just an honest look at the reality of capacity and nervous system load and the physiological differences and kind of life logistics that women really carry every single day. And because a large amount of my audience are moms, or even if you have older kids, like even teenage kids, that seems really hard too. Or your kids are maybe college, you remember, like you can understand, you can relate to
when
this
you're always going to have the way, like your kids are your kids.
Yeah,
forever.
Absolutely.
So,
for sure.
And even if you don't have kids or hope to have kids, or you're managing people, like,
or even if you're managing like elderly parents.
That's true. Like,
some people are taking care.
Being a woman
caretaker.
Is you are always taking care
default.
Of someone. And if you're not taking care of someone, you probably have a dog.
Yeah.
You're also taking care
exactly.
of. Like, people just are wired to take care of people.
Yeah, nurturers. And like, I think about my mom, like, we're obviously all grown and have our own kids. Obviously, she still worries about us, but she has spent the last like 3 years of her life, like caretaking for her parents who have both passed away at this point. But like, they were living at her house. They were in hospital beds in hospice, like living like in my childhood bedroom. Like that is a really intense job. Yeah. Not that my mom's a business owner, but just comparing that to like, I know there are people that listen that maybe that's something that you're doing.
Yeah.
So anyways, there is just this default like load that women carry when you are normally the one that people are going to for that extra care.
Yes.
So the reason that this whole episode got sparked is because I did a challenge a few weeks ago. It's the Regulate to Elevate challenge. Our next one's coming up really soon. And there was a woman that said something that genuinely stopped me in my tracks. Now, she had just joined the challenge. She had joined VIP so she could ask coaching questions. I was actually having her introduce herself and tell us what her business was. Shout out to Michelle. She's actually now a client. She's in my mastermind. She's going on my retreat in March, which is really exciting. And she owns a yogurt company. So she's a mom. I think she has 4 kids. She's a mom. And she said,
she might have more kids.
Or like 7 kids?
Like 6? Michelle? Tell us how many
kids do you have? Okay, she has a minimum of 4, but potentially 7 kids.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
She has a yogurt company. She's in like Whole Foods.
Yeah, like
if you're in Texas, like Central Market.
Yeah, like shout out to Mother Culture USA. Yeah. It's her company, and she has a factory in San Antonio.
A factory.
Yeah. And her her husband do it together.
Cool.
So her husband, she's been in this business for 12 years.
Yeah.
And her husband joined her like 9 years ago in the business. So guys, in this challenge, first day, me meeting her, she says, I always get like these male business ads, like alpha, hustle, like wake up at 4 a.m., grind harder, like the Tony Robbins, she said specifically Dave Ramsey, these like kind of, she said
Alex
Hormozi. Her words, like shove down your throat.
Yeah,
business.
Intense business advice.
Yes. And she's like, and I just saw your ad and she's like, it just felt softer. She said, I felt like you were just like a woman speaking to women
Yeah.
in a way that I've never seen before. And she's like, and I'm so glad that my algorithm like served me your ad.
Yeah.
Shout out to the ads team, Emily
Yeah.
and Lana, for getting that in the right
Yeah.
place. I mean, seriously, like
Yeah.
I'm so glad it reached people. There were several people in the challenge that were like, I saw an ad you did and it really just spoke to me in a way I haven't really seen before.
Yeah.
And she's like, I've just been exhausted and I've been burned out and I've been fatigued. And she's like, seeing your ad made me realize like there is another way. And at first I kind of laughed because I was like, I actually see myself as an alpha female. I'm like, I am very alpha. Don't consider myself a soft person. You know, of course I can be soft with my children, but like I don't consider myself soft like in the business world at all. But I've actually I spent years operating in masculine, really in that like push and grind and fight and compete and perform, compete really with myself. But the truth is that the most successful, most peaceful season of my business, which really has been the last probably year, 18 months, was the season where I intentionally shifted into my omega energy, my feminine energy. So just for anybody listening that's like, what is all these words she's using? So feminine and masculine has nothing to do with male and female, okay? I have masculine and female energy. My husband has masculine and female energy. Masculine is alpha, female is omega, feminine is omega. We like to use alpha and omega because it takes away those like feminine, masculine connotations. But we're going to dive more into like what that energy looks like. But I really intentionally have practiced a lot shifting into my omega energy the last couple of years. I leaned more into my most like regulated, most grounded, most like soft, like powerful like place. This is the path that men don't really talk about because they don't have to use that.
Yeah.
They don't have to like tap into that, but we do, right? Omega is our natural place that women actually thrive most comfortably. It's just that in our industry, being a business owner, not just our industry, but being a business owner, you naturally have to use a lot of alpha energy. You have to be masculine. You have to, you know, lead and act and
to get to a certain place in
push.
business, like you have to do that.
Yeah.
Like you have to push.
Yeah.
And then you probably burn out, crash out, which is where a lot of people come to you.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, there's another way to build and there's another way to grow. And you've hit that point in business. I've hit that point in business. And so, but once you understand how to use your whole self in business, like you'll never be the same.
Truly. And like, I really did. I hustled and I grinded for years, like a couple of years. And it was not a couple of years, like honestly,
like five, 6,
yeah. A lot more than that. I really was.
Before this business.
Yeah. Before
and even
before
a little
this
bit
business,
in this business when it started.
Yeah, even a little bit. Yeah. I'm not a stranger to the hustle and grind. And I do think it's necessary. Like to get to a certain point, you do have to hustle. You do have to grind. The problem that a lot of women face is they hustle and grind for so long. And when you're hustling and grinding for so long, you're kind of living in that activated sympathetic state of the nervous system. And when you're in that state, you're utilizing adrenaline and cortisol every single day to physically continue moving forward. And you actually get addicted to those things because adrenaline feels good. Like it feels good to have like that adrenaline rush and like the cortisol.
Disneyland every day. Like,
like it feels good. And so you get addicted to it and it starts becoming your operating system to where you don't know that there is another way. And like Emily was saying, that's when people meet me and they realize there's another way. And it's like, oh, I can be wildly successful and not feel like I'm like white knuckling my way through every single day and like not giving myself to my kids the way that I want to and my husband and all of that. So the second anecdote that we bring up from this whole situation
this is all happening around the same time.
Yes. Like literally my challenge happened and like literally a week or two later, I think 2 weeks later, I was in a training session with my personal trainer. Now, I've worked out with my personal trainer for years. We're great friends. He's trains my husband as well. And he's a great person. Like, he's such a good person. I have to preface that with this story because it makes him sound kind of bad. He's a great person. We have literally never gotten in an argument like this in like all the years we've been training together. So we're in a training session. And I'm going to give y'all full disclosure. This was day 2 of me having no caffeine. So I was the B word in this.
You can go back and listen to the last episode to hear about
my health journey.
The health journey,
So my health journey, I was on day 2 of no caffeine. I was super grouchy, super grumpy. It was 7 a.m., no caffeine. So I had just woken up. I still had the raging headache that I went to bed with the night before. And I was just not in a great place. And so that's how the workout started, right? Not my best. So we're talking about cross training in the workout. And yeah, I'm like, what do you even mean by that? And he's like, yeah, I think cross training really is the best way to work out. He's like, what I mean by that is like doing weights with me and then going to play like basketball later and then doing like a GTX class or like doing a spin class. He's like doing different types of workouts. He's like, that's really the best way to cross train. And then he proceeds to say, yeah, like I have a client that works out with him and will then go play basketball at night. And I was like, haha, like must be nice to be able to like go work out twice in one day. I said, he's probably not a business owner like me. And he goes, I said, and a mom like me or a parent.
Yeah.
And he goes, actually, they are a business owner and they are a parent and they are married. And I said, well, he must be male. Mm-hmm. And he was like, this is not a male versus female thing. He was like, there's not a difference. And I was like,
there absolutely is. Yeah.
There absolutely is. I was like, if this person is a parent, there's absolutely a difference between being a dad that's a business owner and a mom that is a business owner. Mm-hmm. When you are building a business and your business is something you think about 24/7 and you have kids and a marriage and a life, I'm sorry, like show me a business owner that plays pickleball or basketball at night that's a female mom with like little kids. Uh-huh. And it became an argument because he was just trying to say that there's no difference. And he's not married and he doesn't have kids. He is in like a committed relationship. He has a serious girlfriend, but like he's not married and he doesn't have kids. So like for him to speak on this was very triggering to me because like you don't know my life, right? Like he doesn't have a kids. He doesn't carry a household. He's not carrying like this emotional labor. And I was like, and honestly, your client's probably not either. Mm-hmm. I was like, because the default parent is normally the mom. I'm like, who does the school call when the kids are sick? The mom. Who makes the doctor's appointments, the dentist appointments, right? Who plans birthday parties and holidays? Who remembers the teacher emails?
Yeah.
Who is, managing routines and logistics and meals and carrying like the emotional temperature of the home? A lot of times the mom. Now, when my husband does listen to this episode, my husband is an anomaly, y'all. He is an anomaly. I will say there are still many things that he does not think about as a male that I think about. Like, he's not worried. Fault to him. This is just how we're wired. But he's not worrying if like our kids are getting left out at school. Like, he's not worried about that. He's not worried about Amelia if she's upset on the way to school in the morning because guess what? He's not here whenever that happens.
Yeah. And if he was here, he'd be,
but he probably wouldn't worry about it that much because that's just like not how his brain works. Like, I'm thinking about it all day. Mm-hmm. And so I just think that in households where there is a working mom and a working dad,
the mom is
the default parent.
Yes.
And so that's what we're talking about here.
And I completely think, and like in my entrepreneurship journey, I've realized this too. Like there has to be somebody with flexibility, right? Like one parent has to have flexibility. And if the mom is the entrepreneur, the mom has the flexibility. Yeah. Right.
And like for both of us, our husbands are employed by a company.
Jobs. Yeah.
Now, I will say my husband does have a good amount of flexibility, but I mean, at the end of the day, he leaves for work at 6:30. Yeah. He works 30 minutes away from home. And so it's kind of like hard for him to like leave work and come home and help me. He does occasionally do that when I need him to. And I communicate that I need that help. But, I carry the emotional responsibility of like everyone's lives running smoothly for the most part. And so when that is the case, there is just not that room to like do all the other things. And so the point of telling you the personal trainer story was just that it is different. Males and females are different. And we do have to have a softer approach. And to do all of that and run and make sure everyone's lives are smoothly and carry all the logistics of the home and absorb everyone else's feelings, we build businesses on top of that.
Yeah.
And so we do have to operate differently. Mm-hmm. And so I think that we love the Alex Hormozis and the Russell Brunsons and the Tony Robbins of the world. Like I've learned so much from listening to their podcasts and watching, training videos of them and whatnot, but they don't operate the same way as we do.
I was with our friend Ashley Renders last week, and she said when she's in moments where she's like, I just need a reminder that this is going to be hard, she turns on Hormozi. She's like, because every one of his videos, he's like, this is hard and you can do it. And this is hard. And you just got to power through. And then she's like, I listen to like 5 minutes and I'm good.
Yeah.
But I'm like, we need that reminder, we need that masculine energy. Yeah. And also, how does that fit into your business as a woman, as a mom, as somebody who's caring for other people all the time, you know?
Yeah. So it's like when my trainer said my clients go from training to working to playing basketball at night, I'm like, of course they do. They're not carrying the mental load of a woman that has kids.
Right. And it's different if it's like your husband goes and plays once a week with friends, like whatever.
Right. But like the way he was describing it was that this needed to be like my daily reality.
Yeah. Like, oh, you need to be cross training. Yeah.
And I'm like, huh?
Yeah.
So, this isn't about like ability or weakness or it's about capacity, right?
Yeah.
And men and women can both be wildly successful, but the cost is different. The load is different. The strategy needs to be different. Okay. And the truth is that women and men's nervous systems are just wired differently.
Yeah.
And so I want to dive a little bit into that because obviously y'all know the nervous system is my jam. Women's nervous systems are wired differently. Okay. We are more relational. We are more attuned. We're more sensitive to others. We have hormones that vary so much, and men are just different, right?
Yeah.
So I think that we have to remember that we are cyclical. Like women's have like cycles. Like we responsively are wired. Like we are wired based on how people respond to us.
Yeah.
We are constantly micro adjusting based on what other people's needs are. And men's nervous systems are really built for that like linear output. They have fewer hormonal fluctuations than women do. They just do. That's physiological. They compartmentalize the stress. Like what were you talking about? The waffle?
Yeah. I said that someone told me once that men have brains like waffles where like they're at work. So they're in like their one little waffle square and then they jump to home and they're in their home little waffle square. And so that's how their brain works. But with women, our brains are like spaghetti. So like when something happens or you're planning out your day, you pick up one spaghetti noodle and there's like 20 other things underneath it. So like when one meeting gets moved, this is such a classic, and you're like, hey, my meeting gets pushed back by 20 minutes. Okay, great. Well, my babysitter has to leave and my husband's not going to be home and the kids need to eat lunch, but they're also not really going out for a nap. Like all of those thoughts are connected to pulling the one, oh, can we push the meeting for 10 minutes? Like your brain just goes there.
Yeah.
Whereas a dude is like,
right. Like when Trevor used to go to work at 6:30, he just like does his day. Whereas I'm like, I have to pick up Hughes at 1:30. The kids get off the bus at 3. Henry has to be picked up at 4. Hughes has to be dropped off at 9 a.m. Like the kids get on the bus at this. Henry, there's so many pickups and drop offs and things that my schedule revolves around that just, that's not
his reality.
That's not his reality.
Yeah. And if he worked in your business full time or like worked in the home, like it would be different.
Yeah.
But we're talking again from the experience of like 2 working husbands being the default parent.
Yeah.
Having the kids.
And it's just different.
Different. And that's how most people in your audience are.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so I think what I see happen is, this burnout pattern happens for high performing women where you kind of start in that masculine energy. You're like driving, you're pushing, achieving, which we said is like normal. You have to. But when you add in like household load and kids and the invisible labor, your nervous system gets fried and your body interprets chronic output like as what's required to be a successful person.
Yeah.
And if you do any amount less than that amount of output, it's not good enough.
Yeah.
And so then you feel unsafe, right? And masculine energy, the alpha energy requires force, right? Feminine energy requires trust.
Yeah.
And I think that is so important because trust, this is a really important thing, like lean in. Trust feels unsafe to a dysregulated nervous system. So if you are dysregulated, you're not going to be able to trust that things are going. This is what we talk about in the challenge.
If your brain's
we talk about
swirling.
Control.
Yeah.
We talk about like how people grip and they white knuckle and they hold on to control and they don't want to delegate and they don't want to outsource because they just need to control everything because as long as they're controlling everything will be fine.
Yeah.
But like that actually is alpha.
But one thing goes wrong.
Yeah.
And then your brain enters this like spinning
and you're
wheel
just
of
putting out fires constantly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So feminine energy requires trust. The only way you're going to be able to access trust is through a regulated nervous system. Okay. So let's talk about what feminine leadership actually looks like, because I was under the impression that feminine leadership was like passive and lazy and weak and like not being a driven person. And I don't know, just like I literally pictured it as like sitting back on the couch with my arms like this and just being like,
yeah,
I'm not going to do anything. And that is not what feminine leadership is, okay? Feminine leadership is listening. It's being able to create spaciousness. So like we talk about creating margin, creating white space on your calendar, like on purpose. It is trusting your intuition, which you're actually able to tap into when you have a regulated nervous system. It is allowing instead of forcing things to happen the way that they're meant to happen, because you believe and you practice that all things work together for good. So you can allow and not force. It is magnetism over chasing. And I love talking about this when it talks about clients, getting clients, because I used to be the type where I was like, I need to follow up. I need to follow up. I need to get on a call with them. Like, why aren't they buying? Why aren't they buying? And now I've been able to regulate to this point where I am magnetic and people are magnetized towards me to work with me. And I'm able to kind of sit back in a trusting way that like, I trust whoever is going to come into my world is supposed to, because I've put in the work for that. And because I've regulated myself, and people can feel my energy shift.
Yes.
People always tell me that they like love watching my Instagram stories, because they're like, you look so grounded and so present where you are. You're not like rushing to the next thing and like so chaotic. And it's almost like they're being co-regulated by like watching like how I am regulated in my own life.
So true.
Yeah. It's also where your creativity comes from, right? So being in the feminine energy, to have that space for those like $1 million ideas to download and drop into your brain, that creativity can be accessed when you are living more in that feminine place and that omega energy. I think feminine leadership is so strategic, and I don't really think it's soft, but I think that a lot of people feel like it's weak. It's being weak. And there's a lot of women that operate as alphas, and that is their sales messaging. They're like, you just need to hustle. You just need to wake up earlier. You need to do this. And I've even fallen into that trap. And I've even been there where I've told people to do those things.
Why do you think that is?
I mean, I think that we are in kind of like a male dominated industry, and they just see that it's really working and successful for men. And so they think that we can just do that too.
Yeah, like run their play.
Yeah, run their play. But at the end of the day, it's like you can run their play for a minute. Maybe it works for a little bit, but I just think that there's a way of doing business that's different than that.
And at what cost?
Truly. It's like, okay, do you want to look back 10 years from now and be like, I was never present for my kids, so we have strained relationships? Or I don't want my kids to grow up and be like, oh, mom, all she did was be on her phone and on her computer. Like, I want my kids to remember like my actual face at the dinner table, not me like the top of my head looking at my phone. And I think that, you know, that is the narrative that I'm trying to rewrite, that there is a different way to do business when you regulate your nervous system. When you have a regulated nervous system, you can tap into the feminine energy. And when you I've seen this happen in my business the last 2 years. I mean, the last 2 years, my business doubled and then almost doubled again. And like, we're going to be continuing to grow in 2026. And I really do think that it's because I've tapped into this regulated nervous system, this omega energy. I still am able to utilize alpha when I need to, but it's kind of that energetic agility to be able to go back and forth between
agility.
Yeah, that's to go back and forth between the alpha and omega when needed.
Well, it's like the alpha becomes like your like ace up your sleeve, like your back pocket, like, oh, I can put turn the alpha on versus like having to operate from it.
Gosh,
so
and
cool.
This is actually like, this could be a whole nother podcast episode. We should write this one down. But y'all, when you come home at the end of the day and you're an alpha, your husband should be the alpha in your marriage. You should be the omega.
Yeah.
And so when you're trying to tell him what needs to be done and you're trying to rule the roost and you're not like sitting in that, I'm surrendering, I'm letting go of control, I'm trusting that he's taking care of me. Like literally this morning, whenever my husband left for work, I like hugged him for like an extra like 15 seconds. And I was like, thank you so much for taking care of me. Like, being able to like trust that that's happening. Like, I don't have to take care of everything.
Yeah.
But it took some work to get there.
Yeah.
But like, that is why so many couples have marriage problems that are in the business world. Like, especially wives who are an alpha all day.
Yeah.
And they come home and they're still an alpha. And then they like, that's butting heads. And then you actually put your husband in omega when you're an alpha.
Can I tell you something that we'll be really proud of?
Yeah.
So we are cleaning out our garage, like, so whatever, like getting our gym set up, like we have to move an outlet, whatever. My husband the other day, he goes, listen, I have an idea. And I was like, all right, Teddy, like, what's your idea? And he's like, so I want to start using the Peloton, like the bike again. And he's like, what are your thoughts? Like, we aren't having people over all the time, whatever. If we just like scooch this end table over and I like put it in the living room so I could watch football while I'm biking. And I was like, yeah, you can, you can do that.
Wow.
But, like, in the past, I would have been like, no way. The bike's in the garage. It's ugly. It's whatever. But I was at this place where I was like, you know what?
You just need to trust.
If that's what's going to make you feel good, like, you do. I think it shocked him. I think he was like,
we as women, like, we try to like overtake, make all the decisions. And like, don't want to make another decision at the end of the day. Y'all, it is so empowering when you can get to the end of the day and just be like, when your husband's like, okay, dinner situation, whatever. And I'm like, I don't want to make another decision. I just want you to make all the decisions and let him step into the alpha energy. Y'all, talk about like, if you want to talk about like getting more emotionally intimate, physically intimate with your spouse, like that is the key.
Yeah, that could be. It won't be in our living room forever.
Yeah,
but just for a little season, you want. I'm like, you know what? We're gonna be okay. If that makes you feel good.
Yeah,
you know, so whatever. Good. You're like, LOL, I would never.
That is so funny. Probably not. No, we don't have a Peloton, so
that's true.
But yeah, so I think that when women burn out, when they copy like male business models, they just hear this advice everywhere. It's like, hustle harder. You can sleep when you're dead. Like, wake up at 4 a.m. Like, cold plunge and grind, you know? Like, honestly, like the cold plunge, like, while I think there's a lot of benefits to it, it can be pretty shocking to a woman's nervous system. And they kind of execute more with like not as many emotions. It's like this just do it attitude. And that just doesn't translate for women because you are not a single focus, right? Like your brain is tracking 900 open tabs.
Yeah.
And you're attuned to like emotional kids from your employees, your clients, your kids, your spouse. You're hormonally and physiologically different, right? Like you said earlier, like we have like 3 days a month where we can like really attack alpha energy. And then it's like the rest is like up in the air. Who knows, right? And honestly, some of the clients might be breastfeeding or postpartum, or you never even recovered from being pregnant. Maybe you're perimenopausal, or maybe you are pregnant. You're trying to conceive. Like we carry responsibility for the vibe of the home. And you're the first person to call whenever something goes wrong.
Yeah.
And I think that makes it more difficult to run a business like a male. But the good news is you don't have to run a business like a male is what we're trying to get across here today. And so when I think about business strategy through the Omega lens, the feminine lens, I want to give y'all some like high level strategy bullets. I want you to think about like lean back energy. Okay. So it's like not chasing the sale. It's creating safety in your presence and in your content, just like I created it in my content when she literally watched my ad and was like, I just felt safe, like buying your challenge because of the way that you were speaking to me, right? Create safety and presence in your content. Think like my clients come to me when they're ready. Type of energy. Very grounded follow-ups versus needy follow-ups. Like don't try to convince anyone that like they need to work with you. Okay. That is magnetism. Right. That's magnetism.
You have to be living the way that people you want people to interact with you.
And I truly believe like the real currency in business is like regulated energy. And I think that your nervous system determines your sales and your leadership and the decisions you make. And I think that regulated women convert at higher level, at higher rates. Like I convert people, like it's actually crazy. I was talking to Ashley Brock about the most recent challenge and how out of the 18 sales calls I did, I converted 15 of them. And she was like, what? Like jaw on the ground. And I was like, I mean, like it's hard. You know? Like, and I really do think that it's because of like my regulated energy and just like the way I operate.
The way you present, like, this is what you can do. If this is for you, great. If it's not, that's okay. Great. And it's like leaving something on the table for somebody and being like, it's yours. Like, you can have it if you want it. And I think that too often people white knuckle and strong arm it and then ruin it. You know?
Ashley was on Lori Harder's podcast and I saw a little clip drop of it yesterday and Lori said people buy the environment or the energy like of you.
It's
not
true because they want what you are and not necessarily what you're teaching them.
And I really feel like people buy your state, like they buy your nervous system state, not like what you're actually selling. And that is so true. I think that feminine energy, and y'all, this is like a really tangible thing you could do, is just like 5 minutes between calls. Like give yourself micro spaciousness, permission to think, permission to have white space on your calendar, permission to go on a couple laps around your block before you jump into your next project.
Which is just like saying no.
Saying no. And it's like that emptiness creates the creativity, truly. I think that women have to have these pockets of softness and it's just so important. And then this is a really hard shift for a lot of people to make. And I've really done a lot better at this and I'm continuing to real time make strides towards this, but it's receiving support.
Yeah.
I think this is a really hard shift for alpha women who are like, I can do it all. Like, I can handle it all. I don't need anyone else. Or they think it makes them look weak, or it feels like they're failing if they have to outsource something.
Right.
And y'all know, like, we're doing like a whole series on this, like everything I outsource. Like, I outsource laundry as much as I can, dishes as much as I can. I outsource a lot in my business. Like, I stay in my zone of genius. That's why I had Emily, because she's the creative mind. Like, I know what my brand feels like, and like, I feel like I am my brand, but like translating that into like content is a little hard for me. Like, I can talk all day, but making that visual is not my gift. So I'm not going to spend time doing that. Right. So I delegate, and a lot of people have control. They're like holding on so tight to like their creativity stuff, but they're not even good at it. Right. The other thing is, you know, I just outsource anywhere in my house I can. Organization, like errands. Like, I'm trying to do as little as possible so I have the spaciousness.
Yeah.
And I actually think that makes me a better leader, not like a lesser than leader.
Yeah. And it costs you a little bit up front financially, but the peace of mind that it gives you on the back end is exponential, which then allows you to go grow your business.
Exactly. Doing everything alone is masculine. Doing everything alone is alpha.
Yeah.
Being like, I have to do it all. Like,
it's like that Netflix show where they like, it's called like Alone or something, where they go like kill an animal and they light a flare, and people are alone and they have to go live off the land for as long as they can.
That's crazy. No thanks.
Masculine.
No thanks.
Right. But like,
yeah. And I think that what people don't realize is that creative strategy beats brute force like every single day. And I think that women make so much more money from intuition and from attunement and from storytelling and emotional safety and like regulated presence than anything else.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
I've seen
truly.
it firsthand.
Yeah. Ashley even talked about that last week, how storytelling is like the feminine, right? Mm-hmm. And selling is the alpha or something.
Yeah, you need both.
Yeah, you need both for sure.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like, I absolutely use my masculine energy like on a daily basis. Like, I am very activated when I have to get things done, but you just have to, it's the energetic agility to be able to go back and forth.
You can't have the alpha without the omega, and you can't have the omega without the alpha. We were literally created.
Polarity.
Yeah.
Two ends of the poles.
You need it. Yeah.
And it creates just something beautiful. So I think that, you know, what you believe while taking the action matters more than the action itself. And I think that identity and like nervous system alignment really create results without the burnout. And so that's what we do. That's what we do here. Like, I believe you can have it all, but not if you try to be a man while you're doing it. I believe that you can have it all, but there are trade-offs. There are costs. The costs look different when you're a woman versus a man. And I have truly made it my life's mission to like teach as many women as I can that are female leaders that they can take care of themselves, take care of their family, and grow a wildly successful business.
Yeah. So good.
Yeah. And I just think that women don't need to hustle more. They need to regulate more.
Yeah.
Right? So that's all we got for you today on this episode.
So good. Come back to the next one.
Yeah. Bye, guys.